The meeting was supposed to be about territory, about boundaries, about business, about two organizations finding a way to operate without stepping on each other's toes. It was May 3rd, 1955, 8:30 p.m., the Cotton Club, Harlem's most famous venue, neutral ground. 50 men from the Italian families, 50 men from Bumpy's organization. 100 witnesses to what should have been a simple negotiation. But Vincent "Vinny" Costanza didn't come to negotiate. He came to send a message. Vinny was 38 years old, enforcer for the Lucchese family, born in Sicily, raised in the Bronx, built like a bull, violent, arrogant, racist. He'd made his reputation breaking legs and burning businesses. He didn't negotiate, he intimidated. And he thought Bumpy Johnson, a black man running numbers in Harlem, was beneath him. So when Bumpy extended his hand across the table to shake at the beginning of the meeting, Vinny didn't take it. Instead, he leaned forward and spit directly in Bumpy's face. The entire room went silent. 100 men stopped breathing. Vinny smiled. "I don't shake hands with..." He didn't finish the word, because Bumpy's hand moved faster than anyone expected, grabbed Vinny by the throat, slammed his face down onto the table. The sound echoed through the club like a gunshot. 2 hours earlier, 6:30 p.m. The meeting had been arranged by Frank Costello. Costello was the acting boss of what would later become the Genovese family. Powerful, connected, pragmatic. He'd been watching Bumpy's operation expand for years. Watched Bumpy take control of Harlem's numbers racket, watched him build political connections, watched him become untouchable. Costello was smart enough to know that fighting Bumpy in Harlem was a losing proposition. Better to negotiate, draw clear boundaries, split certain operations, avoid a war that would cost both sides money and men. So Costello had called for a sit-down. Bumpy agreed. The Cotton Club was chosen as neutral territory. Both sides could bring 50 men. Everyone would be armed, but nobody would draw weapons unless the meeting went wrong. Standard mob protocol. Bumpy arrived at 7:45 p.m. with Illinois Gordon, Willie Lee, Marcus Cole, and 47 others. They took their seats on one side of the club's main room, a long line of tables arranged in a U-shape. The Italian families arrived at 8 p.m. Frank Costello walked in first, then Carlo Gambino, then representatives from the Lucchese, Colombo, and Bonanno families. And with the Lucchese contingent came Vincent Costanza. Bumpy noticed him immediately. Vinny was impossible to miss. 6'3", 260 pounds, thick neck, broken nose, scar across his left cheek from a knife fight in Naples. He'd walked with the swagger of a man who'd never lost a fight. Illinois leaned close to Bumpy. "That's Vinny Costanza, Lucchese enforcer. Word is he's killed 17 men, most of them with his bare hands." Bumpy nodded. "And word is he hates Negroes. More than most. Then this should be interesting." 8:30 p.m. Frank Costello stood at the head of the table. "Gentlemen," he said. His voice was calm, measured. "We're here to discuss boundaries. Bumpy Johnson controls Harlem. We control other territories. There's been some overlap, some misunderstandings. Tonight, we clarify those lines." Costello gestured to Bumpy. "Mr. Johnson, you want to speak first?" Bumpy stood, walked to the center of the room so everyone could see him. "Harlem belongs to Harlem," he said simply. "The numbers racket north of 110th Street is mine. The policy banks are mine. The runners are mine. I don't operate in your territories. I expect the same respect." He looked around the room, made eye contact with every boss present. "I'm not asking for permission. I'm stating facts. But I'm willing to discuss arrangements where our interests overlap, specifically in the Bronx and Upper Manhattan." Costello nodded. "Fair. Carlo, you want to respond?" Carlo Gambino stood. He was smaller than Bumpy, softer spoken, but his eyes were cold.
We recognize Bumpy's operation in Harlem. We're not interested in taking it from him. Too much trouble, too much heat. But North Bronx and Washington Heights, those are open territory. We have interests there, so does Bumpy. Then we split them. Draw a line. You stay south of it, I stay north. Nobody crosses without permission. Reasonable, Gambino said. That's when Vincent Costanza stood up. Wait a minute, Vinny said. His voice was loud, aggressive. We're negotiating with this guy? Giving him territory? He's a... Vinny, Costello said sharply. Sit down. No, I'm not sitting down. This is bullshit. Vinny walked toward Bumpy, stopped 5 feet away. You think you're tough? You think running numbers in Harlem makes you a big man? You're nothing. You're a street hustler in a cheap suit. Bumpy didn't respond, just looked at him calmly. Vinny, Costello said again, this is not the time. But I'm making it the time. Vinny took another step forward. Now he was 3 feet from Bumpy. You want respect? You want to sit at the table with real men? Then you need to understand something. He looked around the room, made sure everyone was watching. Then he leaned forward and spit directly in Bumpy's face. The saliva hit Bumpy's left cheek, ran down toward his jaw. That's what I think of you. You're an... Bumpy moved. His right hand shot out, grabbed Vinny by the throat, fingers like steel. Vinny's eyes went wide. He tried to pull away, but Bumpy's grip was unbreakable. With his other hand, Bumpy grabbed the back of Vinny's head and slammed his face down onto the table. The impact was brutal. Vinny's nose shattered. Blood sprayed across the white tablecloth. Bumpy held him there, face pressed against the table. One hand on his throat, one hand on the back of his head. Don't move, Bumpy said quietly. Vinny tried to struggle. Bumpy pressed harder. Vinny's face was turning red. He couldn't breathe.
Around the room, 50 Italian mobsters started reaching for their guns, but Frank Costello held up his hand. Nobody moves. This is between them. Bumpy looked up at Costello. Your man spit in my face, at a negotiation, in front of 100 witnesses. That's not just disrespect, that's a declaration. I agree, Costello said, and Vinny's going to answer for it, but not with blood. Not here, not tonight. Then how? Bumpy asked. Costello was quiet for a moment. Then he looked at Vinny, still pinned to the table, bleeding, unable to speak. You decide, Costello said. Within reason, no permanent damage, no killing. But you make him understand the mistake he made. Bumpy released the pressure slightly, let Vinny breathe. Vinny spit on my face. His saliva is on my skin, so here's what's going to happen. He pulled Vinny's head up slightly, just enough so Vinny could hear him clearly. You're going to clean it up with your tongue. Vinny's eyes went wider. He tried to shake his head, made muffled sounds of protest. You spit on me. Now you're going to lick your own spit off my face in front of everyone here. Like hell I will, Vinny gasped. Bumpy slammed his face back down onto the table, harder this time. You will, or I break your jaw, then your nose, then your teeth. And when you're choking on your own blood, you'll still lick my face clean. Your choice. Costello watched, said nothing. Bumpy looked at him. Is this acceptable? Costello nodded slowly. He disrespected you. He disrespected this meeting. He answers for it. Bumpy pulled Vinny upright, held him by the throat. Vinny's face was a mess, blood pouring from his broken nose, eyes watering. Clean it. I'm not... Bumpy's fist drove into Vinny's stomach. All the air exploded from his lungs. Vinny doubled over, gasping. Clean it, now. Vinny looked around the room, 50 Italian mobsters staring at him, 50 of Bumpy's men watching, 100 witnesses. Please, Vinny whispered, don't make me. You made this choice when you spit on me. Bumpy's hand tightened on Vinny's throat. Vinny's face was turning purple now. He had seconds to decide. Live with shame or die with pride. Vinny chose to live. Slowly, trembling, he leaned forward. His tongue came out, and he licked Bumpy's cheek. Once. The room was absolutely silent. Again, Bumpy said. Vinny licked again, tasting his own saliva mixed with Bumpy's skin. Again. A third time. Now, thank me, Bumpy said quietly. What? Thank me for letting you live. Vinny's voice was barely a whisper. Thank you. Louder. Thank you. Thank you for what? Thank you for letting me live. Bumpy released him. Vinny stumbled backward, nearly fell, caught himself on a chair. Blood and tears mixed on his face. But you're not done, Bumpy said. Vinny looked up, terror in his eyes. Bumpy pointed at the floor.
You spit on me, but some of it hit the floor. See it there? There was a small puddle of saliva on the polished wooden floor, mixed with drops of blood from Vinny's nose. Clean it, Bumpy said. I'm not. Get on your knees and lick the floor clean, every drop, until I say stop. Vinny looked at Costello, pleading. Costello's face was stone. You brought this on yourself. Vinny looked around the room one more time. No one was coming to help him. Slowly, shaking, Vincent Costanza, the man who'd killed 17 men, got down on his knees and lowered his face to the floor. His tongue came out. He licked the floor. Once. Keep going, Bumpy said. Vinny licked again. The taste of wood and blood and his own saliva filled his mouth. Around the room, 100 men watched in complete silence. This wasn't violence. This was humiliation. Absolute, total, complete. For 3 minutes, Vinny Costanza licked the floor of the Cotton Club while Bumpy Johnson stood over him. When the floor was clean, Bumpy finally spoke. Stand up. Vinny stood. His face was covered in blood and tears and the residue from the floor. Bumpy looked at him for a long moment. You called me something before I stopped you. You want to finish that sentence now? Vinny shook his head. No. No what? No, sir. Bumpy turned to Costello. We done here? Costello nodded. We're done. The boundaries we discussed, agreed. North Bronx goes to you. Washington Heights, we split at 181st Street. Anyone violates the agreement, they answer to both of us. Good. Bumpy looked at Vinny one last time. And if I ever see you again, if I ever hear your name associated with my territory, if you ever even think about disrespecting me again, I won't stop at making you lick floors. He turned and walked toward the exit. Illinois, Willie, Marcus, and the rest of his men followed. The Italian mobsters remained seated, watching Vincent Costanza standing there, destroyed. Within 24 hours, the story spread through every borough in New York. A Lucchese enforcer spit in Bumpy Johnson's face at a meeting. Bumpy made him lick it off, then made him lick the floor clean, in front of 100 witnesses. The Italian families didn't retaliate because Vinny had violated protocol, had disrespected a negotiation, had brought shame on himself. Frank Costello made it clear, Vinny earned what he got. Anyone who has a problem with that can take it up with me personally. No one took him up on the offer. Vincent Costanza left New York 3 days later, moved to Las Vegas, tried to start over, but the story followed him. Everywhere he went, people knew. The enforcer who got on his knees and licked a floor. The tough guy who was broken in front of 100 men. Vinny drank heavily, couldn't sleep, couldn't look people in the eye.
On November 7th, 1955, 6 months after the Cotton Club meeting, Vincent Costanza put a gun in his mouth and pulled the trigger. The Las Vegas police found a note in his apartment. 3 words, I couldn't forget. May 3rd, 1955, 11:47 p.m. After the meeting, Bumpy returned to his office above Small's Paradise. Illinois poured him a bourbon. That was dangerous, Illinois said. Making him do that in front of everyone could have started a war. Bumpy took a sip of his drink. Costello's smart.
He knew Vinny was out of line, knew that if he defended him, he'd lose respect from his own men. Sometimes the best thing you can do for someone is let them face the consequences of their actions. Vinny's finished, you know that, right? He can't come back from that humiliation. I know. You think he'll kill himself? Bumpy was quiet for a moment. Probably. Men like Vinny, their identity is built on being feared, being tough. When that's taken away, there's nothing left. You feel bad about that? No. He spit on me. Not because I did something to him, because of what I looked like, because he thought the color of my skin made me less than human. Bumpy set down his glass. I didn't start that confrontation. I didn't disrespect him. I came to negotiate. He came to humiliate. So I taught him what real humiliation feels like. Message received. Every family in New York knows now. Don't disrespect Bumpy Johnson. It's not about me. It's about Harlem. Every time someone disrespects me, they're disrespecting every black person trying to build something, trying to earn respect, trying to survive in a system designed to keep them down. Bumpy looked out the window at Harlem's streets. Vinny thought he could spit on me because I'm black, because in his world, black men are supposed to accept that kind of treatment, supposed to bow their heads and take it. He turned back to Illinois. I made him lick floors to show him, and everyone watching, that those days are over. In Harlem, respect isn't determined by the color of your skin, it's earned. And if you violate it, you answer for it, no matter who you are. The Cotton Club meeting became legend in Harlem. Not because of the violence, there was barely any, because of the humiliation, because 100 witnesses saw a racist enforcer reduced to nothing, saw him on his knees, saw him licking floors, saw him broken, and saw Bumpy Johnson walk out with his dignity intact. For the next 13 years, until Bumpy died in 1968, no Italian mobster ever spit on him again, never called him slurs, never treated him as less than equal, because they all remembered Vincent Costanza, the man who disrespected Bumpy Johnson at a meeting and spent his last 6 months unable to forget the taste of that floor.